All right, here's the next step, which is going to be drawing the top view. So again, this is not the exact same view or part that you're seeing on the assignment in AutoCAD right here, or on Canvas, but it's very, very similar. So just pay attention to the values that are altered, um, but it is very similar. So back in AutoCAD, what we're going to be doing is drawing this up here. So in the template here, I haven't shown you this much. We haven't really paid attention to this yet, but it's going to become very important. So first, let's just make sure all of these things are turned off so we don't see any of those. So hide those, and our dimensions are turned off and all that good stuff. So it doesn't look like this, but it looks like this. Back in the Home tab, this area these are layers. So layers works a lot like Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator. And what they do is they can assign different colors and layers to different line types. So these right now are just labeled as 0, so they're nothing really, which isn't super helpful for us. What we want to do is turn these into object lines. So I'm going to click once and then just let my cursor select everything at the down drop, and I'm going to say let's turn this into object, or the orange lines, and then I can hit escape. So now these are orange, and what that's going to do is when we print it, it will assign a specific thickness to those lines, so that when we print it, it will say, hey, this is they're the larger lines, much bigger than the oh my gosh, dimension lines. So we're also going to use what's called extension lines. So let's go ahead and let's change our layers to or projection lines. And this will feel familiar if you remember way back at the beginning of the year we did this all by hand. This is how drafters would do it digitally. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to turn on my ortho mode again so that I've got just straight up and down and left and right. I'm going to go line tool. I'm going to click right here and I'm going to go straight up and I'm just going to click where it intersects with this line, like that. The length isn't super critical on the line, just as long as it goes all the way up there. And let's hit escape. I'm going to line again. I can type in L to get there quickly. And I'm going to pick the next feature. That's going to be like this, come straight up. And click, escape, L, enter. I'm going to click this feature right there. Boom, escape, L, enter. This line straight up, escape, L, enter. And then it's going to feel a little weird because we don't actually click any of these, but the hexagon is going to be busy. We're going to use like 4 lines on this one, I think. One there, escape, L, enter. This corner here is going to come straight up. Click, oh, that didn't work. Try that again. L, enter. Oh, it really doesn't like, oh, I see what's happening. It's trying to snap to a midpoint there, so I'm going to have to just go a little bit past it. And that's okay. We'll erase a lot of this later. So line again, click here, boom, L, enter, L, enter, and then this one's a little tricky because it doesn't, if I get the midpoint, it's right there. But if I zoom in, I can see that that's not the farthest out that it can be. So what I'm going to do instead is draw a line next to it that's vertical, like this. And now I'm going to use a geometric constraint to make a tangent. So I'll go to parametric and tangent. And now tangent's funny. If I want this to move closer to the main body here, I will click that last. So I'll click this one first, and then click this one, and it's always the second one you click that gets moved. So that's nice and placed in where I want it. And then I'm going to start adding in some object lines. So right now, these lines have been drawn, kind of. We've done our projection lines, but we'll alter them later on to turn them into hidden and center lines. We'll just start with this one. So I'm going to make a box that goes from here. It's going to go over. I'm going to ignore these fillets until later on, and I'll show you how to add those. So I'm going to go Home, Line Tool, and I'm going to make sure that I'm not on projection lines anymore, but that I'm on Object. So I'm going to click, and it doesn't matter super how high up and down. We can always adjust it later. Click here. I'm going to come down 2.5 inches. Go over this way until, oh, you know what? It looks like I'm missing one line right there that should be coming up. Let's hurry and fix that, because that'll be a problem. Projection lines, straight up. There we go. That's better. So back here, change this back to object line. I'll go over to this point. I'm going to go up half an inch, so 0.5, enter. And I'm going to go all the way to the end. Boom. Go up. I'm trying to remember, was it 1.5? Yeah, 1.5. So line tool, back up, 1.5, enter. Back here, 5, enter, and then all the way back to there. Cool. So I've got these lines, which is great. And I can use these other lines to help me draw some other references. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to erase a couple of extra lines that I don't want. Oh, wrong spot. Get the model. So I'm going to go trim, TR, and I'm going to trim all of this stuff up here. And I'll get rid of the lines that were a little bit too far there. And I can get rid of these. And I'm going to trim out this, and you can trim just by clicking on the line directly as well. That, and like that. Beauty. So I've got these lines up here, and I can start, putting these in I can start changing what type of line they are. So let's hit escape. Now if I click on this line, this one, and then these right here, like that, I can go ahead and turn those into hidden lines. They're going to be these dashed lines. So if I hit escape, you can see that they're dashed and that they're updating on my final thing right here, which is kind of cool. All right, and then this line, I believe, yeah, I'm missing actually a line right here, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. I'm going to click here. I'm going to say, let's turn this into a center line as well. I'm going to hit escape. And center lines actually extend just a little bit above and a little bit below. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here on this point, and let's just add, let's say like 0.25. We'll do the same thing here. Add 0.25, and now it's even on both. It's even above and below. And I think I could actually do more than that, but as long as it extends just a bit past it, that's okay. Shoe, in here now, I'm going to go ahead and say line, and I'm going to draw, and this is going to feel a little funny. This from here to here, I'm going to draw a line like that. I'm going to use a line to get that midpoint. I just draw straight down like this. Looks good. I can click on this and change that one back into a center mark. And I'm going to click on here and do the same kind of thing. Let's go 0.25 above and 0.25 below. And now it's a little tricky because it looks like I've got a solid line and it shouldn't be solid. So I'm going to move that for just a moment and see what it looks like. Maybe I've got the wrong. No. Yeah. Let's try extending it just a little more. So this is, it's at 0.25. That's okay. It was just, yeah. We'll just have 0.25 as well. That's better because it should have that little gap in between it right there. Cool. So I've got these two, and now I can start doing some extra stuff. This line right here actually needs to extend a little farther. It's kind of weird, but because there's a fillet in here that goes around this, you can't really tell from this view, but there's a fillet that goes around this rim. It's going to be curved right here, and there's going to be an edge that shows up partially from here to there. So I'm going to go and hit a extend, or type in extend. I'm going to click this line, boom, right click and enter. Let's do repeat extend. I'm going to do that again. Right click, enter, and click there. Oh, actually, now I'm going to click the line, click this dot, and now it's going to ask how far do I want to extend it. I can control, right click, and then I can say midpoint between 2 points. This is a really handy thing. I'm going to click that one, say I want it between here and here, and it will automatically get that distance. So that's a power play. That's the key technique to know how to do. So let's do that again. I could actually, I'll do the same process with this line down here. So first I'll type in extend. So extend right here. Boom. Right click, enter. Right click, repeat. Boom. That's one way. Or I can go straight here. All right. So I'll type in extend again. This line. And it goes all the way. And then I'm going to actually kind of work backwards. So hit escape. Click on this line. Click here. It's going to say how far do I want to go. I'm going to go control. Right click. Midpoint between 2 points, and I can go here and there, and it'll automatically go halfway there, which is perfect. Okay, so I do have a couple extra things in here that I don't want to see. I know that there's a couple of these extension lines that are still floating around there, so if I want to isolate those to delete them, especially when they're layered like this, I can turn off my object lines, and I'll say it turns it off, sure. And that will reveal these ones that I need to get rid of. So I'm going to say, hey, I want to get rid of that one, get rid of this one, get rid of that one. And then I can always bring the object lines back by just turning the light bulb back on, and we're in good shape. So now it looks perfect. Okay, so that is our top view with some added line types or whatever. While we're at it, I can start, actually I'll pause here and start a new video, and we'll do all of the, well, no, we'll go ahead and we'll do the annotations. There's not a lot more to do from here. So we'll go to the Annotate tab, and let's do center marks first. I'm going to go center mark, and I'll click here. Boom, that's good. And I'll click on this one. Nice. I'll click here, and here, and here. So those are all the center marks we need. However, these are really big, and they've got a lot of extra business going on. When you look at the example here, they're all fairly small. This is the only one that has extension lines going about the center mark. These ones are all really small, and so we'll go back here and we can edit all of these at the same time. I'm going to show you a nice trick. So if I click on one, and the next one, I'm not holding shift or anything, I'm just clicking on them. And then if I right click on the center mark of any of them, I go to properties. And this is where I can edit the way that these lines function. So the geometry size and all that good stuff. If we go to, all right, I gotta find it. Pretty sure it's a, oh, it's right here, show extension. It says yes. I'm going to go down and say no. So we get rid of those extensions, which is nice. And the cross side, this is a parametric where it says 0.1 times x. So it's going to do it as a tenth of whatever geometry it's inside of. And we want it to be just a standard, I think it's 0.25. And I've hit enter. That's good, yeah. So it'll, and then cross cap, you can ignore that one because we've turned it off, so that doesn't actually do anything anyway. I'll close out of this right here, hit escape, and now all of those are smaller and they look good. So I believe those are all the major annotations, and then we'll move on to dimensions next. So I'll hit pause and we'll go to the next one.